We have been getting a lot of anime soundtracks on vinyl, and I've been covering them, like the Demon Slayer soundtrack that we got recently, Cowboy Bebop, of course, which is absolutely essential for any fan of the series. Are you looking forward to the live action? Please let me know. I definitely am, and I really don't mind that they use the same opening theme. That's super iconic. And we've also gotten vinyl records for Death Note as well as Hunter x Hunter, both of these composed by Yoshihisa Hirano, with Hideki Taniguchi also on Death Note as well. Both of these by Tiger Labs. Awesome records, essential in any collection. I've been covering these records on my channel. I absolutely love these soundtracks. I love these anime. Some of you who have been watching my channel has picked up an interest in, the hobby, and I've gotten asked quite a bit what is a record player that I recommend. You kind of need a record player to play these, so I always recommend the Audio-Technica LP60X. It's a revised version and a much better version to the original LP60. If you wanted to see a very detailed, in-depth comparison between the old model and a new one, I'll link a video in the description below by Westlife. The guy goes really in depth with, a lot of very intricate details if you wanted to take time and look at that. But I managed to pick up the LP60X. This is the Bluetooth edition. This is the same exact thing as the LP60X, just this one has Bluetooth functionality and the other one simply doesn't. So whether you want a table that connects wirelessly or not, you're going to save a lot more without the Bluetooth and spend a little more if you wanted the wireless connectivity. So in this video, we're going to unbox this, go through the setup, as well as things you might want to get and do as you're setting it up, all of this record player's functions, and why this is a great, ready to go out of the box turntable. Welcome to Music and Anime. My name is Ab, and first, as always, the song of the day, which comes to us from Latin Pooh Bear 05, who says, "I love watching your videos, and I love the burgundy red on the vinyl. Thank you." And that burgundy red vinyl is in reference to the Beastars one I showed in my Jujutsu Kaisen video. I'll link that in the description if you wanted to take a look at that. But my song of the day, Dr.Stone opening theme by Burnout Syndrome's Good Morning World. I really like the Dr.Stone opening. I haven't finished Dr.Stone, really just wanted the science. The science scenes in Dr.Stone are just amazing, and to me in the beginning of season 1 there was too much taiju screaming constantly, but I just wanted Senku and science. That's it. If you grew up watching MythBusters, that was a show on Discovery Channel here in the States, Kari Byron was one of the scientists on that show. She did a reaction video to all the science experiments in Dr. Stone.
I'm gonna go with yes, this is possible. Really hard to do, but I'm feeling like Senku could do anything.
Gave her input, whatever. A lot of the experiments that are in the show, she's actually done herself and everything. It kind of goes through. It is either accurate or like not so accurate in the show, and it is one of my favorite like reaction type videos. I'll link that in the description if you wanted to take a look at that. Please do. It's quality content for sure. As for the song, the anime opening, Good Morning World, the singer has a very low register that I'm not really used to hearing for, just your anime opening types. I love his falsetto. His falsetto in the pre-chorus of that song is just like, do more of that, please. Yeah, but thank you, Latin Pooh Bear, for sharing that with us. And if you wanted to share your favorite anime opening, ending, or music in a series, just comment down below with Song of the Day, and you could see it in a future video. Now, getting into this box here, let's take a look at the Audio-Technica LP60X. So this is the box, and it honestly just looks, very similar around the entire thing. So let's just crack this open. This is a belt-driven turntable, so we'll have to set up the belts on the motor. We'll go through that in the setup. But you can see the first thing we have here is, the manual, the quick start guide, and you can download the manual on the website there. Yeah, it comes with a 45 RPM adapter. That's, for records that have a, larger spindle hole that require that. We can just put this to the side and get this thing out of the box. So after we get that out, you can see that the box is just empty, so we can just put that to the side. There's very large pieces of foam. It's a great thing. And on the side here, we've got the power adapter here, and depending on the region you're getting this in, you'll have a power adapter with the supply that's needed for wherever you are. So yeah, it's a 12-volt power adapter. I'll just put that to the side for now. And here we have the audio cable. cable, which is a RCA to 3.5 millimeter jack cable. Depending on you know, how far you have your speakers or anything, you might want to invest in a longer cable. This one I would say is about 3 feet long. I'll actually measure it out and confirm here, but my current setup, I wouldn't be able to, you know, actually plug this in the way that I wanted to, so I would have to invest in a longer cable if I wanted to go direct in, which is primarily what you want in, you know, when you're getting a record player. You want to be as direct as possible. But since this has Bluetooth, you can also connect wirelessly and you'll be able to listen to music just fine that way as well. So let's put this to the side and get to the turntable itself. So before you take the foam out, you want to flip this upside down actually, and you'll see in the bottom there's just some pieces of tape on the side. This is our platter and the platter mat, so you just be careful with might want to hold the bottom of it before you take the foam on the sides out. Now the platter itself is aluminum, which is great. It's going to add more weight to the turntable, which is what you want. The heavier the table you have, the more sturdy it's going to be. That's going to have less rattle, less movement for your table, and less movement means less noise that's, you know, outside of the music that you want to be hearing, which is good for a record player. This red ribbon here is wrapped around the belt itself, and that's going to make it easier for us to just peel that and easily place the belt over the motor, which we'll, you know, do as we set this up. And if you're wondering why is there one on the other side or what these holes are, all of this is just for balancing reasons, right? If they only had the hole on one side, it wouldn't be balanced, the weight would be off and all that stuff. So that's purely for it to be as evenly distributed weight as possible. Now the platter mat is obviously important because this is what your record is going to rest on, so it doesn't get scuffed or scratched or anything. And this is a soft felt platter mat, has the Audio-Technica logo on there, and on the other side, you know, it's completely blank. You can use either side with this, you know, both sides are exactly the same. It'll be totally fine either way that you have it. For now, we can put these to the side and take a look at the table itself. So first we want to flip this over again. Let's get the foam off the sides, and we have the dust cover already installed, and it actually has this protective foam over it as well. I really do like that added protection. Now here you can see the mechanism that makes this an automatic turntable. Now this is a typical setup for a belt-driven turntable where you have the motor on the completely opposite side to the cartridge itself. Now this is the motor over here. This is what we're going to put the belt around. It's super easy to do. Now the reason this motor is on the opposite side of the stylus is to minimize noise. You don't want the stylus capturing any noise of the motor spinning while you're trying to enjoy your music, and that's why they have that placement like that. But let's go ahead and add our platter. This is again very, very simple. You just take that tape off, and all you do is pull it so it's past the motor, and then just place it onto the other side of the motor like that, and you're good. Now you just want to rotate this a couple times and make sure that the belt isn't like twisted like that or anything. You just want the belt to be completely uniform, like no twists in it. But once that's good, that's all set. You know, you have your platter on there. You just place your platter mat, and again, you can place this whichever way you'd like. This also has a spot for your 45 adapter, which is very nice. I love it when a turntable includes that. Most high-end ones don't, but it's always nice to have a spot to place your adapter. Now let's take a look at the back and plug this in. So here in the back, this is again a very simple setup. All you have is the port for the power adapter. So let's go ahead and plug that in. You have the port for your audio jack. If you're going direct into your speakers, the white and red go into the left and right channel inputs. Now this little switch here, the one that says phono and line, you want to make sure this is set to line if you're just going directly into your speakers. This turntable has a built-in preamp. If you want to upgrade from the built-in preamp and plug into a separate amplifier, make sure it's set to phono. Now, just before we take a look at some of the functions, you want to make sure that your turntable is perfectly balanced. The last thing you want is to put this on a surface that's not quite, you know, balanced, and it's leaning more one way than the other, even leaning forward or backwards, and that could lead to your stylus actually skipping a record, which isn't good for the stylus or even your record, as you could damage it. So if you have a standard level, you want to make sure it's leveled from the front face and also the side as well. But to make life easier, you can can actually get this little guy. I'll put links to these in the description below. This is super cheap and it's so much easier to level it because you can just drop this on the center of your table or place it, right above the spindle. Once that bubble is in the middle, you know for sure that it is, perfectly balanced. And this other thing I've talked about more extensively in my 5 things you need to care for your records videos. I'll link those in the description as well. This is a scale, and this is super important. This is something you want to get even before you pick up a record and stuff like that, because you'll definitely need this for any record player that you get, whether it's this one or anything else. This is going to ensure that the stylus isn't too heavy or too light on your record. Now the stylus that this comes with is the Audio-Technica 3600L, which has a downward tracking force of 2.5 to 3.5 grams. Tracking force is just how much weight is being pressed down onto the record. Typically on ones like these, it is weighted for 3.5 grams, which isn't too heavy for your record. It's not going to damage your record at the max weight for this stylus. It's still perfectly fine. This scale should account for the thickness of the platter mat itself, as well as when a record is on top of it. So you can just take the platter mat off or move it to the side there and just place the scale right onto the platter itself. I have it set to grams, so make sure you have it set to grams there. We want to raise the Q up lever, and you want to get the stylus onto the center of this scale as close as possible. Once you have that centered, click the button there, and you can see here it's measuring just under 3.5. It's 3.48 or 3.46. Either way, that's a very good reading. Definitely get the scale. This is something you want to make sure is correct, because if it's heavier than it should be, that's gonna damage your records, and that's why it's super important to have that scale. Generally, these are really good with that, but again, if you just want to make sure and see for yourself and know for a fact that it isn't too heavy or too light, this scale is going to do that for you, and that's exactly why I recommend it. It's just for peace of mind, and this doesn't really cost that much either. It's about like $14-15. But now we've got this turntable all set up and powered on. Once you plug it in, you'll actually see that it's going to be searching for a Bluetooth device. You see the light indicator there blinking red and blue there. It'll stay solid blue when it connects to a device, or just stay solid red when it's just no longer looking for a device and it's just directly plugged into some speakers. The speakers that I have are these bookcase style edifier speakers. It has 2 RCA channels, an aux channel, and Bluetooth, which is what's awesome about these. Now, I like to have a direct connection on my turntable setup, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to connect wirelessly. And you can see there that the light is now solid blue. It connected super easy. It didn't take anything at all to connect. If anything, and it didn't find your speaker, all I had to do was just press the button, and it very quickly found my speakers automatically connected. And yeah. Now let's take a look at all of the functions of this turntable here. Now, this lever here is for the automatic function of this turntable. If you're playing a 12-inch record, you want it set to 12, the tone arm will move automatically to the starting point of a 12-inch record, close to the lip of that. And if you have it set to 7-inch, it'll automatically go to where a 7-inch record would start. Just keep in mind what the speed is for the record that you're playing. This is a 2-speed turntable, so it can spin at 33 RPM, or 33 1/3 more specifically, but 33 RPM and 45 RPM. So just always look at what speed your record needs to be played at. You can always see that just right on the label of the record itself. And you can adjust the speed with the button on the right side here. So if it's 33, just leave it as is, and then you push in, and you can see a little picture there to set it to 45 RPM. Typically, 7-inch records are 45 RPM, but I have one here. This is actually Shiki no Uta. Minmi is a singer here. This is the anime ending to Samurai Champloo. It's hailed as one of the best anime ending songs of all time, and I'm happy to have that. But this is a 7-inch record that spins at 33 1/3 RPM. So if I were to play this, I would set it to 7-inch and then leave the speed as is. Place my adapter, place my record, and then hit start, and there you have it. But if you have a 10-inch record like I have here, you will have to manually place the tone arm to, play a 10-inch record, since there isn't an automatic function for 10-inch records. This is super simple, and you always want to use your cue up lever. So this is the button all the way on the right. Cue it up, move it over just above the lip, and press your cue up again and play your record. And whenever you want it to stop your record, you can either again press the cue up, place it manually, or just press the stop button, and it will automatically place the tone arm back onto the tone arm rest and stop the record as well. And when a record is done playing, it will automatically place the tone arm back onto the tone arm rest. This is my favorite thing about this record player, and I really wish sometimes that my manual turntable had this function, because when I'm listening to music and I'm laying down and I have one of my cats laying on me sleeping, we're both comfortable and all that stuff. Sometimes you just don't want to get up, and when the record is done playing, the motor on that one just keeps on spinning. And that's really not good for the stylus, so you kind of have to get up and stop the record player and all that stuff. So this is awesome in case you maybe fall asleep or something while a record is playing. You know full well that the record player is going to stop your record from playing and all that stuff. You can also play records with the lid down, and you're not going to have any problems with the head shell of the stylus scraping underneath the dust cover. The turntable I have in the background here is a Victrola that's comparable to this one. I picked that one up refurbished for $40, so it was super cheap, and anyway, I had to fix it and all that stuff. It was a project, but whatever. That one has a problem where when it returns, the head shell actually scrapes underneath the dust cover and leaves a line on it. With this one, you can see that the tone arm doesn't raise too high, so it doesn't scrape against the dust cover at all and all that stuff, so you can play records with the dust cover down just fine, and you're all good. So that is the Audio-Technica LP60X. Again, this is the Bluetooth one. This is a great record player if you're just starting off in the hobby. It's an investment, of course. There are other record players like the suitcases that are super cheap. They're very easy to get, if anything. You definitely want to make sure that you have the scale for those ones, because a lot of the times those do damage your records and whatnot, and you don't want that to happen, because some of these can be really hard to come by and whatnot. So definitely get a scale regardless of what record player you get. Make sure the tracking force is set, and make sure your table is balanced or leveled so that you can enjoy the many different soundtracks, music, artists, whatever you like to listen to. So let me know what you think of this turntable, whether you've picked it up already and you've been listening to your records on it, what your thoughts on this record player are. Let me know what anime soundtracks you're looking to add to your collection and which ones you're looking forward to. Please share a song of the day if you'd like, and keep on listening to music that make these animes so great. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.